There's one question that I've heard many of you ask over the last several months. When can we worship in person again? The last year has indeed taught us that the church is not a building, the church is a people. Yet, I have longed for the day when it would be safe for us to open the doors of this sanctuary again for in-person worship. The day has been delayed time and time again as the pandemic continued to prevent our in-person activities. But we make an important step toward in-person worship today. Acting on a recommendation from the COVID task force and because of the progress made in Stanley County and beyond, our session has decided that we are ready to begin gradually reopening First Presbyterian Church for in-person activities. This is indeed something to celebrate. After a year of waiting, we are ready to discover our new normal together. It's time for us to experience some joy. It's time for us to give thanks to God for all that God has done to bring us through this pandemic, and it's time for us to see some friendly faces again. We will be opening our building in a gradual and, most importantly, safe way. While things won't look exactly the way they did before the pandemic began, this is a huge step in the right direction. Beginning Sunday, April 18th, you are invited to join us in this space at 11 o'clock a.m. To do so safely, we're going to modify some practices. We will be limiting our worship to 50 people per week. Registration will be required so that we can be sure to keep one another safe and healthy. We're asking you to be aware of how often you register for in-person worship so that many people have a chance to participate. Masks and social distancing will be required for the duration of worship in accordance with CDC Guidelines. After watching the way you have responded selflessly to this crisis over the past year, I have no doubt that members of this congregation will follow these guidelines to keep one another safe and to make space for one another. For now, worship will be the only Sunday morning activity which will resume in person. Sunday school classes will continue online. We will not be able to offer childcare at this time, but as always, children of all ages are welcome in worship. As we get closer to April 18th, we will share with you the procedures for registering for Sunday morning worship. We'll also be sharing with you more details about Sunday morning worship itself, so keep your eyes open. Of course, if you aren't ready to return, that's okay. We will continue to have an online presence through a live-streamed worship service at 11 o'clock on Sunday mornings. Loving one another and taking care of one another by keeping each other healthy and safe is our primary focus. So we will continue to monitor the situation in Stanley County. We will be flexible and adapt as necessary. Friends, I know that it has been a difficult year. It is impossible to count the losses. So many loved ones have died. So many hopes and dreams have gone unmet. So many milestones have been missed, and so much security has been lost. We have grieved, and we will continue to grieve because this pandemic is not over yet. There is still so much work that needs to be done. But as Easter people, we look forward with hope to the resurrection and God's victory over death. With thanksgiving for all of the hard work of scientists, doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals, and many more, we marvel at the progress that has been made. With the call to love our neighbors ringing in our ears, we continue to do the important things to bring healing and hope. I'm thankful to you for the church that you have been over the last year. You have been patient and understanding as our session has gone through discernment about when to reopen. Above and beyond that, you have cared for one another, with meals delivered, phone calls made, and prayers spoken aloud or in silence. We have not been a closed church over the last year. You have been at work proving that the church is not a building. You have worshiped online. You have met over Zoom. You've driven through the church parking lot more times than I can imagine. We even began a new ministry in partnership with other downtown churches called Pfeiffer Friends. For all of these things, I'm deeply grateful to God and grateful to you. I look forward to worshiping with you again in person, and I look forward to the good work that is yet to be done by God in our midst. Thank you.